Hey, scrappy friends, this is Mags from Mags Graphics, and today I am showing off my new Everyday Enhanced Stitched Clusters and the Everyday Enhanced Page Borders. The Enhanced Art at Forever has really been a game changer, and it lets you do a lot of fun things where elements come in looking like a regular element, but are actually layers, and you can ungroup them. So I'm going to show you how all of this works. For this demonstration, I have added under the embellishments tab both packs. I went down to the first pack and clicked on it, Everyday Enhanced Stitched Borders. Then I went down to the clusters and clicked Add to the Current Selection, and that allows me to see both packs at once without having to toggle back and forth. Taking a look at what you're going to find in the clusters, you've got 10 different clusters, some with many photos, some with just a few, all of them with some type of customizable stitches. And on our borders, you have 10 11-inch borders. They've just been sized smaller and smaller for the preview so that you can see the different types. The colors are there. They don't really matter because you can change them to anything that you want. We've got zigzag patterns, diagonal, the little crosshatch, wavy, some with rounded corners, some with more pointy corners, the little chevrons. So there's lots of options and things that you can do. Plus you can use both of these sets together. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the borders first. We're going to click Add to Page. And right away you can see that we've got our stitches, borders, and shadow. So I'm going to click on this and right-click, Grouping, Ungroup. We know that this is a grouped element because over on the right panel, it actually says group. And when I added it to the page, it originally looked like this, where it said group. Now that I've separated it, you see it comes of two shapes, one of which are the stitches, the second of which are the holes. The holes are created to look as if they're punched into your paper. Whether you use a pattern paper, a color, a solid, a texture, it's going to have that look to it. And you certainly have the option to reduce the opacity if you don't want it as dark. I'm going to back this up to put this back together. Now that when I'm clicked on the stitches, if I go to the color ribbon, hue, I can change the hue and saturation and turn these stitches into any color that I want. I could sample from my screen. I could pick colors that I have used before. And then once it changes my color, I can always decide if I want more saturation or more color or less, which sort of adds a little more gray to it, or if I want it to be brighter, or if I want it to be darker. So you have more options even within the one type of stitch. I'm going to click OK. Bring it back to be able to see it and show you some other ones. So here's one of ours. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. You can see that it's just a straight stitch with a pointy corner, which will be different from another one that is the straight stitch, but has a rounded corner to it. All of these function the same way. You can ungroup them. You see they come in as a grouped element. Here's just another one to take a look at. This one is another type of zigzag. I would recommend when using these that you keep your aspect ratio locked. For me, the way I have it in my settings, I have to hold the shift button before I resize to keep that aspect ratio locked. If I take off my shift button, I can make some adjustments without the aspect ratio locked. And for little adjustments like this, it's not going to matter. But if you try to go something this different, you'll see that it skews it. So I would recommend staying as close to the square as possible with just some minor adjustments for rectangles. I'm going to take these off so that they're out of our way. Show you a couple more. Here's one with the different cross stitches. There's another one being added maybe. There we go. This is sort of a jaunty one, haphazard. Some other fun things you could do is if you wanted some of this stitch, but you didn't want all of it, we could ungroup it. We could go up to the cut ribbon. I'm going to just use a shape for right now. And I'm working with the red stitch right now. I'm going to put it right, I think I'm going to put it right here, a little bit bigger. I'm going to move up a little bit so you can see. I want to keep that last hole, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Same way with this. In this case, I want to keep my shaded part, so I'll keep the shaded and cut. And now for both layers, it is going to keep the stitches and the holes. And I can always go back with my touch-up eraser, and I can erase these little bits here on each layer. So if I just wanted to use a corner, I could, or any part of that border stitch, which can make for some fun effects on your page. I'm going to go ahead and delete these off and take a look at our corner clusters, or our stitched clusters. When you add one of these to the page, they're coming in large so that it can be the only thing you need, or you also have the flexibility of making it smaller and then maybe adding another one to the page to use as well, and using two. Something like this. I'm going to move this out of the way. Oops. Make this bigger again. When I right click and ungroup it, I now have all of these layers to play with. I can change my circle into a different shape. Maybe I want it to be more oval. Same way with my photo drops. And you could always go in and apply different shapes from the shapes menu. I've got some text boxes here that match the vellum, that match the background tag. You can certainly change the hue and saturation of this background tag, as well as the charm. The charm is set under the stitches, but over the holes. And I can always change the hue and saturation of this stitch, or rearrange any bit of this to suit my layout. Delete this and show you some of the other ones that are in there. Maybe you just need a few pictures. So we have one like this that just has 3 pictures to it. Maybe you need a lot. So we have another one like this that has a big photo and then a bunch of little ones in a scatter, all of which can be customized because you can ungroup them. We also have our big heart that has stitching around it with the holes. It works the same way. We can change the hue and saturation on this outer stitching. Color, hue, let's pick a pink, bring up the brightness, bring up the saturation. Now we've got a pretty pink heart instead of the original color. We also have this very fun wreath circle. Let me delete that. And when you take it apart, you can always resize any of these. You could change the hue and saturation on your stitches, grouping, ungroup, and you'll notice that now we have a lot of stitches. So this pair can be colored independently of this pair, in case you want more of a rainbow of stitching going around. There are a lot of possibilities with this kit, and I know you'll have fun with it, but let me show you what my creative team did with this. They chose lots of different kits to show these off. Here's one of the circle photo clusters. Here's one of the long clusters plus a border. Here we have that polar wood one I showed you along with a border. Here's a couple of the hearts being used. Some of the other clusters. And you can see these all use different kits. I've got Railroad Journeys. We have Aloha Hawaii, Wizard World, and the Garden. So these enhanced packs will work with any of your favorite kits, whether they're Mags Graphics or not. And I know you'll be able to use them again and again. So I hope that you will stop by my store and check all of these out. I can't wait to see what you make, and I hope that you will show off your layout in the Mags Graphics fan group. Thanks for watching.